Dow component Walgreens just reporting, so let's get over to Bertha Coombs. She's got the numbers on that. Hi, Bertha.
Hi, Becky. Walgreens beating on both the top and the bottom line with adjusted earnings of $1.59 per share compared to a $1.40 consensus estimate on revenues of $33.8 billion versus expectations of $33.4 billion. COVID again helping drive pharmacy, which saw comparable sales up 7.3%. Walgreens administered nearly 12 million vaccines in the quarter and more than 6.5 million tests. Prescriptions were up 4.7% year over year. On a net basis, operating income actually fell from a year ago due to increased investments in things like micro-fulfillment centers to automate prescriptions on the back end and expansion of Village MD clinics in Walgreens stores, which is a cornerstone of the new Walgreens Health division. On the retail side, U.S. sales rose 14.7%. UK sales were up 22%, though in the release, Ross Brewers says they are continuing the, quote, strategic review of Boots, i.e. they're still looking to sell, it looks like. On both sides of the pond, Brewer told me supply chain is improving, but inflation remains a big challenge.
Supply chain is improving. I'm seeing an improvement as we were just placing some of our seasonal merchandise that comes from overseas for both Valentine's and Easter. So we're seeing some improvement there. But what I would love to see a little bit more work on is, what we're doing with inflation. We're unfortunately having to pass some of that on to the customer, but we're also looking at ways to reduce our cost and pass that on to really offset what we're seeing in inflation.
Even with those headwinds, operating margin topped estimates at 5.2%. Becky, you can see shares there are moving higher here in extended hours.
Watching some of these things, as Brewer is putting greater emphasis on Walgreens Health, just as the company is kind of turning through some of these things, are they considering the idea of stopping selling tobacco? We just heard that from Walmart. CVS did that when they started focusing on health, too.
Exactly. CVS did it back in 2014. And that's exactly what I asked, as they are really focusing on health. I asked Brewer that during our Healthy Returns conference. Here's what she said.
Can Walgreens Health continue to sell cigarettes? That is one of those things that I am personally looking at. I think it is something that you'll hear us talk about and make some announcements about in short order.
It is one of those things that some shareholders have been asking.
Absolutely.
For a while.
I hear them.
Rebecca.
Loud and clear.
The interesting thing in New York City, since 2019, they haven't been allowed to sell cigarettes in their stores, and they report numbers ex tobacco, and those are usually about a point higher than the overall sales. So it sounds to me, Becky, like they're leaning on stopping.
It does. It sounds like she gave you a pretty clear signal of which direction they're headed, which brings you to the next question for the tobacco makers. If it can't be sold in a Walgreens, in a CVS, or in a Walmart, you are running out of some pretty important sales points for reaching your customers, too.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.